Right, it's time we took this lawn up a notch from where it is now. So in this video today we're going to be starting verticutting or vertical cutting of the lawn, and then we're going to give it a mow, and then we're going to look at sorting out these few little patches. So what you can see here is what we call a verticutting cartridge or a verticutting cassette. And these ones are custom made by Moto-Tek, who makes custom verticutter cartridges for a number of different scarifying machines. Now this one has been made for this Cobra S40C scarifier. And it's a very simple, easy change. There's just 3 bolts on the right hand side down here, which we change these over, 4 bolts, sorry, and then we slot it in. So we'll get on with that now.
I was lost or I was found, nothing ever in between, shedding tears or extremely happy. Got no one to stick around. Once my heart was in pieces, I told myself that was what I needed. The more I felt drowning.
So it's just a couple of 10mm sockets here. One on there. So there's 4 to undo there. And then it's just a little tight on the back side, just for tightening those up. Still got to tighten this top one up actually, but you can see the verticutter blades are all in there, nice and evenly spaced apart. So I'll just get this last one tightened up and then we'll crack on. So we put the verticutter cartridge in, which is straightforward. You just undo these 4 bolts and the whole thing slides out, and you just have to replace the 4 bolts. Can be a little fiddly because there's not a lot of space in there, but you just get a spanner inside. So the idea of verticutting is to cut in to the runners which grow just across the grass. And as they grow across the grass, this is the weed grasses by the way, it's slicing into them on a regular basis. Now, 25 odd years ago, I worked for a large lawn care franchise, and they told me back then to use a knife, a sharp knife. So if you've got any weed grasses and you get a sharp knife, you literally just slice into it once a week, and it's weakening those runners. And the idea is that if you do it on a regular basis, it's weakening those and allowing the other grasses to do well. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be verticutting very regular. I'd say once a fortnight, maybe a bit more often, but we'll see how it goes. Now you will need to adjust the height up or down on this machine. It's by this little handle down here. So you're not digging into the soil too much. You are literally just about scratching it at the very barest, and no more than that. So I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting and then we'll get ready for running the machine over. I think what I'll do first though is I'm going to get my mower and just run over just to tidy it up and just bring the height down a little bit. So when you look at my lawn, normally each year I tend to kill it off with some Roundup, and then 2 or 3 weeks later we can do a full renovation. And I would have done it again because of the weed grasses, but this year you guys actually asked me not to do that and to sort of see how we get on with dealing with the weed grasses, which is what we're doing today. My plan is to verticut every couple of weeks, if not more often. We'll see how the lawn takes it. So we've got the verticutting cartridge in. So now we're going to adjust the height. Now, to the left lowers it, to the right highers it. So if we go on a high setting first, it's nice and high so it's not digging into the soil. Put that on. Oh, it has a leak. Okay, so I think what had happened was when I got it tipped back, some of the petrol must have just been dripping out over this section here, and when I tried to start it up, it was all sort of gathering on the machine itself. Anyway, we've managed to get it going. So what we're going to do now is get on with this verticutting. We're on a high setting, so we'll start it up and just go forward a little bit, and we'll have a look and see what things look like. And that's done absolutely nothing, so we'll go down a few notches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, nothing. Okay. It's just starting to touch some of the material, so we can go down a little bit more. 1, 2. So we're not going for a scarifier, which is really digging in deep and pulling out a lot of material. That isn't too bad. I think we'll go down just a slight bit more. 1 and 2. So I'm going to go over the lawn now, and we'll have a look when it's done.
Give me a change. Give me something to love. At least something I can make sense of. Give me freedom. Give me faith to ease my heavy heart. Just some energy to feed up.
For me, the biggest thing is it messes with your mind. You think it's not taking enough out, but it is. It clearly is. And I've just emptied the mower. Now I'm going to go over with the mower just to hoover up. Now you can see there's some areas where it's a lot thicker, or what I should rather say is where the ground's uneven and it's actually dug in and taken a bit more out. But it is where it is. Overall, it's actually done quite a good job. Now I went over twice, so we're going to get this mowed up, see what it looks like, and then we need to deal with these patches. And then at a later point, we're going to start doing some levelling. Okay, tidied it up, and the verticutting's actually done a good job. It's just broken through things, letting it breathe a bit. So we do need to get these patches sorted where the dogs have been and where we've been turning the mower, and it's just worn it down a little bit. So yeah, it's actually looking pretty good. Other than the few little bits, which we're going to sort now. So you might now be thinking, well, what do I do now? Well, you could actually just leave it at that. Keep watering, keep mowing, and it's going to recover. And it isn't going to take long because we've only verticut, which is a very gentle sort of grooming, just a very gentle sort of brushing through of the lawn. But with regards to my lawn, we've got some patches. We've got a few humps and bumps, which has led to these dark spots here. So we need to really get some seed into these spots, and also where the dogs have been. Now some areas the verticutter didn't get to because it's slightly uneven. So I'm just going to use my hand scarifying Wolf Garten hand scarifying rake just to tease those out. And I'm going to look across the lawn at any areas, and I'm going to put some of my Boston seed down.
Created my own reality, and as the days pass, the story began. Pushed and pulled.
You see, most of this is actually nice fresh soil. Just really a couple of areas like here we just need the soil exposed. Quite a bit of hand powder went down here. Right, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think what I'll do is I'll just overseed the whole lawn, because we're trying to introduce as much of the new seed as possible and get it to outcompete the weed grasses. So we'll take our Scott spreader, we're going to open up to number 5. That's the biggest hole inside. So when we turn it, more will fall out the bottom there and into here, which spins around when we turn this. And it flicks it all over. But you don't need, and what you do is you squeeze this and you turn the handle. So for example, and you can do this just to thicken up. And actually I think this is just what I'm going to do. Because what we're trying to do is get more of this new grass type in. Now the birds are going to have a bit of fun with some of this, without a doubt. Try and not get it in the border, but it's not always possible. Soon uses up, doesn't it? So we'll get some more. Right, I'll crack on with this.
As the days pass, the story began. Pushed and pulled until they ran.
So I've overseeded the whole lawn. I've actually run out of seed now. I've been to have a look, see how much topsoil I got. I've got hardly any. I think I've got about 5 bags. So I'm going to just put the thinnest of layers I can on of topsoil. It's just to cover the seeds. It's not for any leveling purposes. We'll have to get some more soil, but I'm going to use the Bannerman mini topper because we can really finely adjust how much comes out by lifting this little brush section here up and down. So when we raise these and we undo these, this whole thing slides up and down, which depicts how much actually slides out the bottom. So I'm going to start off with it quite low. We just undo those and the whole thing will slide down a little bit. That's right at the bottom. We'll just come up a tiny bit. You try and get it as even as you can. So we'll put the soil in the hopper and we'll give it a push. Now, I don't use this very often because it's quite wide. And what I might have to do is just use it to cover the worst parts. We'll see how far the soil goes. Okay, and all you do and that's covering really well, but we haven't got enough soil, so I'm going to look for the worst areas, cover those, and we'll use the rest of the bags and we'll see how far we get.
Give me a reason.
So I managed to cover the most of the seeds. It's just a nice even thin layer of soil, but because some of it's actually smothering the blades of grass, we need to do this, so it knocks it off and goes down in between the blades of grass like so. So I'm going to use a lawn leveling lute, which is this Landsy one here, but there's plenty of others. I'm just going to drag it across the lawn and then we're not far off done. So I've just mixed up some emerald green, a bit of seaweed and a bit of iron sulfate into this Flowzone battery knapsack sprayer. I'm going to spray it all on, give it a watering in, and then I probably might put the fence up round just for a little while, just help these new seeds to generate. So I'm going to crack on with this. Right guys, we are done. This is it for this video. So it was always on the cards to do a little bit of overseeding because we'd got a few patches where the dogs had been, and at the top end where I've been turning the cylinder mower on the new grass, it had worn it down a bit, and a bit down this end as well. So do you know what, I thought I'm going to overseed, and because we've used the verticutter to thin out and weaken the weed grasses, we get some new grasses in, and the idea is that these new grasses will then try and compete. So I think what I'm going to do is put the fence round for a week or two and just keep watering. Let it all come through, and then we can start again, and then we can start on the regular verticutting on a very light setting and try and take this lawn to the next level. So thanks for watching. Normally I wouldn't seed at this time of the year, but as long as you can water 5-6 times a day, you'll be fine. You've got to keep it well hydrated until it's come through, but you've also got to water well afterwards, because even though it might look nice on the top, the roots will be shallow, and what will happen is the grass can actually die back again. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, press that subscribe button, and the more you do that, the more the algorithm shows my videos to other people who have also got problems with their lawns. So coming up on screen now, there'll be some other videos which will help you on your journey. If you've got any questions, just pop them down below. See you on the next one.